I believe in taking every opportunity you can get.
Taking every opportunity you can get.
Yes.
That's a really very, very interesting statement.
Exactly, and the prayer to actually see the opportunities when they come. I was born in Nigeria, in Jos.
Oh, wow.
West Africa.
Yes.
Spent my childhood there and moved to Sweden as a 19-year-old in 1993.
Wow.
And I've been here since then, 25 years.
That is, at 19, that must have been a very big decision.
Yes,
for
it's
you to
a
make.
dynamic age, an age where a lot of stuff is going on. And
Yeah.
It was definitely a big decision.
Look, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking back, would you say it was one of your best decisions ever?
I don't know what other decisions might have led to,
Yeah.
but it was definitely one of the most important decisions I've made.
Wow.
Definitely.
How would you define that moment in your life if you would just summarize it? At 19 years of age, who is Obi at 19?
At 19 years, of course, it's a period when hormones are there and you're like starting your adult life.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think generally what you're really looking for there is how to define yourself, how to make your own stand, because you're kind of transiting from childhood to adulthood.
Yeah.
And looking for the best opportunity, what do I want to do and how can I get there? That's kind of where I was at that time.
Wow. I think that's remarkable because, you see around here, I mean, you've been living in Europe since then, and you see a lot of young people are like party, at 19. Basically, university age, and people are going to school, but still there's just this element of, having fun. But you, at that age, were thinking about just, personal growth, what to make of life, right?
Well, not to make me sound like an unusually mature 19-year-old, because of
Yeah.
course, I probably would have wanted also to have that party, still be a child.
Yeah, yeah.
But looking at the background where I came from, where it was critical to make the right decision.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no, of course you have family who will take care of you, but there you have to make the right decision.
Yeah.
What career do I want to develop?
Yeah.
And there are so many decisions to be made, and there's so much pressure to make the right decision. So
Wow.
I think generally it's not
Yeah.
that much party at that age.
Yeah. But did you have any influences so that you began to think like that?
Yes, I came from a family where my granddad started the tradition of wanting his children to be educated. So it was a
I
lot
see.
of pressure to be educated and choose a very good education. And
Yeah.
at the same time, I had a sister who lived in Sweden and was influencing me to move to Sweden and try the system
wow.
here. So it
Wow.
was definitely a lot of influences from different.
So we see already the sisters' hands
Definitely.
in your
Yes,
decision.
Yes.
How was it after you moved to Sweden?
The first impression was it was so different, and it was like a paradise for a 19-year-old, a paradise of opportunities where you
Wow.
have a system of education that's basically just pick and choose, and it's
Yeah.
free of charge for citizens, and it's there's so much privileges and freedom as
Yeah.
a teenager
Yeah.
in Sweden compared to what I grew up with. So it was very
was good.
exciting.
Yeah. Now, we have a lot of young people in the world right now that are hearing you and they're thinking, wow, that must have been real paradise. Pick and choose kind of society where you can choose what you want to be, and the hindrances are probably not not the same as the ones that you see in, for example, Africa, where maybe there is no school fees or tuition fees and all
Yes,
that kind of
yes,
stuff.
yes, yes.
So if we have right now such a person, such a young person that wants to become something in life, they probably want to develop a career, but these hindrances are there and they cannot come to Sweden where it is pick and choose. What can you tell that person?
That is a very difficult question because I was privileged. Definitely, I was privileged, and I am thankful for that
Yeah.
privilege. And I would just say, well, I believe in prayer, and I believe in taking every opportunity you can get.
Taking every opportunity you can get.
Yes,
That's a really very, very interesting statement.
exactly. And the prayer to actually see the opportunities when they come, because you can be influenced by your environment to thinking that the only opportunities you have are to go to university
Yeah.
and become a doctor, for example. Whereas there could be opportunities that come which might be life changing for you and your society, and you just need to realize
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Now, one of the main reasons why you describe this society where you moved in Europe as pick and choose society, where a lot of things worked, is because some people sat down and did good management. You know, they were good at managing the resources that were available. So what kind of lesson can you tell leaders maybe in Africa, where you originally came from, where this kind of opportunities actually they are there, but how do you put it, like not so many people can access them, maybe only a specific group or ethnic group, but not everybody. What can you say to these leaders considering this, if you know what I mean? Like,
I think I know what you mean. It's
Yeah.
a gigantic question. Spontaneously, I would say that you have to have more love. Because if
Did you say love?
Love.
Wow.
That's probably what you were not expecting that reply, right?
No, man, love.
If I can explain what I mean.
Yeah.
What you love,
Yeah.
you tend to want to take good care of.
Wow, that's
Yes.
very true.
Yes, and you have to, of course, we all know that you need knowledge. I mean, that is probably knowledge that Africans have even more than many Europeans, why we really want to be educated, go to school.
Yeah.
But also the love part of it. I mean, like if you look traditionally at many African settings where the infrastructure, the political structure, the religious and cultural structure is
Yeah.
not an African thing. It was like
Yeah.
put in place by others.
Yeah.
That is kind of puzzling because it's not your own project,
No.
and maybe you do not have not really identified it as my African project,
Yeah.
something I love, and then you find out that you wonder why people are not managing the system correctly, but they have to like claim it, make it theirs, and learn how to love it, because when you love something, you take good care of it.
Wow. What are the main reasons as you see it? Because you have been socialized in these two continents, you know, born and raised in Africa, but at the same time, you have spent the better part of your life in Europe.
Yes.
So what are some of the things that are stealing away this love from countries where opportunities are not available to everyone? Say Africa,
Yeah.
for example. Yeah. What is it what is hindering people from realizing this love for what they're doing, or for, you know, whatever?
I think the love was never there.
Oh,
Because, for example, I heard of a project in Gothenburg here in Sweden
yes.
where the teachers in a school, they needed to renovate their canteen, their cafe.
Yes. Yes.
And they made the students do the job instead of just getting a contractor who would do it. They gave the students the responsibility
My.
of doing it.
Wow.
And they discovered that when the students had painted, repaired, and fixed the place, they did not vandalize the room as they would have done in other schools. And that kind of
That was a nice
it puts
example.
Exactly.
Wow.
It became their project, you understand?
Yes.
And if you look, for example, I mean, we have to have patience for, like, my dad's generation which actually grew up in a rural setting where there were structures for, I mean, political, religious, and they functioned. And just a generation after that, things kind of fell apart in so many places.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that many of the structures that are in place in many African countries were actually not put there by Africans for Africans. They were like inherited, and this is something that is changing and has to change. We have to, like, people have to think that this is my country, this is my project, this is something I love. And like what you see in Sweden, where people have actually worked, sweated, and put things in place, and then you generally want to take care of it.
So this sense of ownership probably is lacking in many parts of, let's say, Africa, because, for the sake of the discussion.
It is lacking, definitely. I mean, politicians in Nigeria, for example, need to actually care for and love the system. And it feels like they don't really do that because people do not feel loved, people do not feel taken care of. It feels like, on the contrary, people do not really identify with the system,
that is key.
Yes.
Now, we are here basically to, empower not only, the church, but every young person that is listening to us. Today, our hearts are going out to every young person.
Yes.
Because the young people, this is our time, You have heard this thing, some people say many years ago that, or quite often actually, that, young people wait for your time is coming. And so while they are, devouring the countries and the economy and the spirituality and everything and involving in every bad thing, the young people are on the sidelines, wasting away. Their talents are wasting away, their giftings are wasting away. But I like what you're saying, that, you just have to involve the young people, and the leadership has to really willingly just decide to involve people. Now, earlier on you mentioned that you do pray,
Yes.
Why do you pray? If somebody might ask, why don't you just do things? Why is prayer important?
Because I believe that things are not always so simple. They are quite complex, and we kind of need a guide.
Wow.
To navigate correctly. I mean, we can put energy into projects and stuff that we feel at the moment seem very reasonable.
Yeah.
But I mean, in my opinion, it's perfect to have higher spiritual being who knows the future and can help you navigate. That's one of the reasons.
Who is this higher spiritual being who knows the future? Who is this being? Who is this person?
This is the originator, the spirit who was before we were.
According to you, who is this?
This is the God that we read about in the Bible, according to me.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So this means that at some point in your history, you came across this God, or you kind of encountered this perception, of the God of the Bible.
Yes, definitely.
When did this happen?
This didn't happen at a specific date. I brought up in church with parents who were Christians. So
I see,
in a setting, in a Christian setting.
Yeah.
So I had this from childhood, the knowledge and the access to the Bible, but it was I had, of course, to make this my own. Like we've been talking about claiming your country and also religious-wise making
Yeah.
this your own and finding out, okay, my parents said this. Now I want to know for myself. Who is this God?
Yes, yes.
And to find out that this God is actually accessible on a personal level. This is like
Wow.
mind-blowing and revolutionary.
This is interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now in the world, the population of young people is bigger than any other. We have seen a massive explosion of growth and development among the youth all over the world, whether it is Asia, Africa, Europe, We have seen that the elderly generation or the older generation is dwindling, and the world population is mostly youth right now. That means these are people that have access in many ways to internet. They are interconnected,
Yeah.
both culturally and spiritually, if you like. But this is also a people that are suffering lack and scarcity, poverty, and whatever world organizations, they have tried different projects and different things to empower young people around the world. What is, as you see it, you are by definition an engineer by profession, okay? You are into machines and all that. But from an engineering point of view, what is the best way, to help young people to arise and be able to use their talents and their giftings and to make a living, not depending on the social welfare system and all that?
My heart really goes out to young people. I
Yeah.
have a real desire and wish that,
Yeah.
like you said, people who are, lacking financially and in a
Yeah.
position where you can almost feel you're trapped. It's a terrible situation. And
Yeah.
I believe we are all responsible because we are responsible for each other. We are all here on this planet.
Yes.
There's nowhere to go, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that many times we have let the young people down. And well, that is the case, I know, in many situations. But
Yeah.
the young people are strong and innovative. And actually, what I wish for is for young people to realize that they are actually a source of power for change, and to kind of let that power free and not just wait on the older generation, which has disappointed many times.
Yeah.
But to actually try to brainstorm and see what can I do with what I have.
Wow. What can I do with what I have? I think that is a good starting point, because most of the time, I remember growing up back in Africa, it was so easy, and all around people were always talking about what we did not have. We do not have this, we do not have security, which in many ways actually is a fact,
Yes, sir.
like the issue of security in many parts of the world, especially Africa. But then you're saying, not only looking at what we do not have, but beginning with what, asking oneself, what do I have? Yeah. Now, going forward, here you are in Sweden after many years. Okay. And do you still have contacts with Africa? Do you go down some time to talk to these young people?
I definitely have contacts. I travel regularly to Nigeria. I'm on different forums on internet where younger Nigerians talk about innovative ideas, both technologically and politically. And well, I see a lot of change going on, and it's very exciting because even my parents before me also realized how much frustration there was and waste in the potential which is the young generation
Yeah.
and wished for a change. And the change is taking place, but we kind of, everybody should do what they can and be patient. I mean, a plant doesn't grow overnight. There is change taking place, but unfortunately, it's taking time.
How can young people deal with the issue of anger, which comes from frustration with the current status quo, or the leadership that probably is not doing what they think should be done? How can they handle this anger? Because I think a lot of young people are angry.
With good reason.
Yeah.
Good reason. But if this anger in any way can be channeled into instead of bitterness and just feelings of anger, to use this energy to do something, and also to be kind of to realize that this requires faith.
Wow.
If you think of the Sweden, which just not so long ago, a tenth of the population escaped from here because it was a poor country.
Yes.
And now it has a very good standard of living. Many of the people who actually sweated and struggled did not see the results of their labor, but it was kind of faith. They knew, I can change, and they did something.
Yeah.
Now a lot of us are enjoying the benefits of what they did.
Yes.
So much of it is faith, and long term, being ready to invest. I believe that we think too short term.
Yeah.
How can I get paid next week? But rather think that that's one of the advantages also of being a Christian, because I believe that every good thing you do, even if you do not harvest it during your lifetime, counts.
Yeah.
So if your children or the future generation, if Nigeria, Africa is a continent which people are struggling to get visas and visits in the future, and the history books will tell who were the ones who actually dug in and said, now it's time for change.
Yeah. Obi, you have seen a lot of young Africans, perishing in the seas, in the waters, boats capsizing and all that. They are running away from this terrible life, that some of them have gone through in Africa. Mm-hmm. And of course, they want to reach, the Europe and other areas where they deem to be better. They are looking for a better life. And right now there's a young person in Africa who is thinking, what next? All they're seeing is blackness in front of them. No food, no work, no job, children that are going hungry. What can you say to this person? They have this vision in their lives to be a better person, but maybe traveling a long way to Europe through the seas is a tall order for them. Where do they start?
It's difficult for me to give my opinion because I've never had to run from war.
Yeah.
And that is a terrible tragedy. I have met people who have run from war and people who have left areas like you're describing.
Yeah.
And I know that I would not recommend the journey, some ways of trying to come to Europe.
Yeah.
It's too dangerous and too many people do not make it.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to say. I mean, we can always have faith, we pray and we hope. And a lot of it is our responsibility, diaspora and others who have the opportunity to try and empower, do what we can.
Yes.
But generally, I would just, easy for me to say, sitting here now, but pray and try to think, is there any open door? Can I do anything with what I have and not just be fixed on the idea that if I can just get away from here, things will be better? Because in history, many people have done that, and they are not always the ones who have been the winners. Many times people who have stuck to their guns, stayed back, have actually been the ones who have made impact and sometimes also enjoyed the fruits of change.
Wow.
So
Wow. Now, there's this fear factor that is gripping a lot of young people. Maybe somebody has talent, they have a gift, they can sing or they can dance, but they don't have, they have this fear factor. Maybe nobody has ever listened to them. You have seen stories like that.
Yes.
Somebody goes to an audition and people are like, wow, Can you how do they handle this fear factor? Because you at 19 probably faced your fear factor and you overcame it. At 19 you traveled abroad. So can you speak to some young person who is struggling with the fear factor right now?
What is the worst thing that can happen if it's not that you are risking your life, if it's just fear of not succeeding, then I would just say just do it.
Just do it.
Not just do it. Do it and do it over and over and over again. I mean, just throw yourself off the cliff. Try it. Try as much as you can.
Yeah. Wow. Throw yourself off the cliff and try harder. That's a nice one, man. Do you have any final comments? I mean, somebody is listening in or watching in sub-Sahara Africa, and they do not have, this relationship with the God of the Bible that you're talking about.
Yes.
Or they don't know what the future holds. It's all darkness. What can you tell? Final punchline.
The final punchline, been there, done that. Just do it. If you are interested, if you are curious, it doesn't have to be more difficult than just to speak that outright and ask this God, if you really exist, please, can you introduce yourself to me? Because it's God's responsibility to introduce himself to people, but people can be curious and seek to find out. And there is definitely a great mystery, and it's definitely worth finding out. Definitely.
Wonderful. What do you see Obi doing? What do you see Obi experiencing and, just performing?
Well, it's difficult to know, but if I could have my wish in 10 years' time, I will have definitely some structures in place in Nigeria, business structures. I'll be moving between Sweden and Nigeria, trying to spend a lot more time there developing technology in the automobile industry, and hopefully also very involved in church music. That is my hope.
Powerful. There you had it. Nigeria, watch out. Obi is on the way. And the whole world. Thank you so much, bro, for coming.
Thank you.
This has been so powerful.
Thank you.
Wow. Didn't you like this man, his wisdom? It's so amazing. And you got to come here next time again.
I'll be Thank you for letting me come, Steve.
Thank you so much. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And leave a like if you are blessed by this interview. Thank you so much. Bye for now.